Good evening and welcome to the news roundup for Monday, April 17. I am Abigail Smythe. Before we get into the news, please like this video, share your views in the comments, and share the video with your family and your friends.
Teach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
Now for the news in detail. Jamaican actor Winston Bellow has died. He passed on Saturday after suffering medical complications. The 45-year theater veteran was famous for his roles in Third World Cup, One Love, Glory to Gloriana, and Get a Life. Critics revered the late actor for his comedic genius and ability to connect with audiences. Among his many notable collaborations, one stood particularly remarkable: his enduring partnership with friend Owen Blacker Ellis. Together, the two formed the legendary comic duo Bellow and Blacker. Their side-splitting performances left audiences convulsed with laughter, cementing their place in Jamaican comedic lore. The actor-turned-clergyman was founder and presiding bishop at Time Out for Jesus Worldwide Ministries Temple of David in Kingston and host of Pastor Bellow Live on Roots FM. A magnitude 4.6 earthquake shook sections of Jamaica Saturday afternoon. According to Google Alerts, the epicenter of the quake was approximately 27 miles away from Jamaica's capital city, Kingston. The quake was felt at approximately 4:35 p.m. According to the Google tracker, among the affected countries were Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, and some minor outlying islands of the United States. A day later, parts of the Eastern Caribbean experienced a 5.2 tremor. Those seismic events have again raised questions about the capacity of buildings in the country to withstand major tremors. Specific concerns have been raised as to whether high-rise residential structures erected recently in the corporate area were built in accordance with modern earthquake safety standards. Acting Director General of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, Richard Thompson, says the country's building code is among the most advanced in the world. Meanwhile, a public relations officer at the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Emilio Ebanks, says his agency has been enforcing the building code to ensure adequate fire response systems are in place. Jamaica's last major earthquake, which measured 6.2 in magnitude, shook Kingston in January 1907. Geologists have warned that the country should be on alert for another quake of similar magnitude. Meanwhile, a lead research fellow at the earthquake unit on the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies, Kevin Tanku, says Jamaica is overdue for a major tremor. A major investigation is underway following an armed robbery at a gas station in Gutta's Bushy Park, St. Catherine, Saturday morning. Reports are that about 5:50, the business owner and an employee were in the process of opening the establishment when they were pounced upon by four armed men who forced them to the floor. The culprits gained access to a box containing $24 million. They also robbed the employee of his cell phone valued at $25,000. The men then escaped in waiting motor cars. Swift action from the police has led to the discovery of one of the motor vehicle's license plate numbers. The police are following several leads and expect to make several arrests in relation to the matter. And the St. Elizabeth police are investigating an incident in which over $1 million disappeared from a MoneyGram outlet located at Legister Plaza, Santa Cruz, between Friday and Saturday. Reports are that the business owner securely closed her business place and left Friday. She was then alerted by the alarm system at her business place around 2:45 Saturday morning and called the police. A patrol team went to the location on Coke Drive where two holes were seen in a wall leading to the MoneyGram office. Further checks revealed that the funds, as well as a bag containing an undetermined sum of cash, was missing. Investigations are ongoing. 4 men were killed in 2 shootings Sunday morning, one in the parish of Manchester and the other in St. James. In Manchester, the police are probing what they describe as a brazen attack at a bar in the community of Finegrass in Shudley, which resulted in 4 persons being shot, 2 fatally. It is reported that a lone gunman carried out the attack sometime after 9 o'clock. One of the deceased has been identified as Steneth Hutchinson, otherwise known as Deportee. And in St. James, 2 men were fatally shot at an event at Kidaris Sports Bar in Canaan, Dumfries. They are 22-year-old Giovanni Gordon and 33-year-old Adolphus Holder, otherwise called Goldball. The police say the men were among a group of persons at a permitted event about 1:45 a.m. when they were attacked by gunmen who shot them several times all over their bodies. The police were called, and on their arrival, Holder was seen on the ground lying motionless on his back in a pool of blood with gunshot wounds to his head and upper body. Gordon was transported by residents to the Falmouth Public General Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Police say the gunmen were after Holder, who had fled the area but returned a few days ago. The police say initial investigations have indicated that there was an ongoing conflict between family members of Holder and other men from the community. A taxi operator was gunned down in Tollgate, Clarendon, Sunday morning. He has been identified as Miguel Thomas of a McGilchrist Palm address in the parish. It is reported that about 10:50, Thomas had just finished washing his car when he was pounced upon by a lone gunman. The gunman opened fire, hitting him in the head and upper body. Thomas died on the spot. A 79-year-old man chopped his wife to death during a dispute in Bogwalk, St. Catherine, Saturday morning. The deceased has been identified as 72-year-old Yvette MacDonald, a retired nurse of Azar Lane in Bogwalk. She was attacked and chopped in the head and on her upper body. It is understood that the incident occurred about 2 a.m. at the couple's home. It is reported that the deceased, who returned from the United States of America 2 years ago, was scheduled to go back overseas the same day she was killed. 1 man was killed while another was shot and injured, and an illegal firearm seized during an alleged shootout between police and gunmen in Denbigh, Clarendon, Saturday morning. The deceased has been identified as Orlando Davis, otherwise called OJ, a resident of Comfort District in the parish. The other man has been admitted to hospital. Reports are that around 11:45 a.m., police, acting on information, went to Post Office Road in Denbigh, where they saw 2 men at a shop. The men were accosted and they reportedly opened fire at the police, resulting in a gun battle. Police say when the shooting subsided, both men were found suffering from gunshot wounds and taken to hospital, where Davis succumbed to injuries and the other man was admitted in stable condition. An illegal firearm with the serial number obscured and 1 9mm round were seized following the incident. Police say the deceased was originally from Comfort District in Clarendon but had been staying at Cemetery Road with relatives for some time. He is said to be closely associated with a criminal network in the parish. Additionally, reports indicate that the injured man is no stranger to the police and has been the target of several intelligence-led operations. The police say he is being probed in relation to several criminal activities, including robberies, car stealing, and lottery scamming. A man was shot and killed and another injured while purchasing soup outside a church in Anchovy, St. James, Saturday afternoon. The deceased has been identified as 44-year-old Orlando Jarrett, otherwise called Shane, a mechanic from the adjacent community of Roehampton. It was reported that about 4:30 p.m. the 2 men were purchasing soup from a vendor outside the House of Praise Church when they were reportedly pounced upon by armed men traveling in a motorcar. The gunmen opened fire, hitting both men before escaping. Jarrett died on the spot while the other man was rushed to hospital, where he was admitted in serious condition. Jarrett is the second person to be shot and killed in Anchovy last week. Portland recorded its fourth murder on Saturday following the death of a man who is believed to be of unsound mind on West Street in Port Antonio. He is known as Lee Donald. Investigators say he was living on the streets and was probably killed between 3 o'clock and 4:30 Saturday morning. The body was found with what appeared to be stab wounds to the neck. Of the 4 murders committed in the Portland Police Division since the start of 2023, 2 victims are believed to have been of unsound mind. In March, local government minister Desmond McKenzie stated that funds were available to construct a drop-in center for street people and urged the Portland Municipal Corporation to identify lands for its construction. The municipality of Portmore recorded 9 persons being shot within 24 hours, 1 fatally. 5 men were shot Friday night, none of them fatally, in Bridgeport, St. Catherine. According to reports, about 9 o'clock, the wounded persons were standing among a group on Portsmouth Avenue when several explosions were heard and it was realized they were shot. 3 of the men are in their 40s and 1 in his 30s, with 3 being construction workers and 1 self-employed. Meanwhile, in Greater Portmore, 36-year-old driver Lloyd Eglinton, otherwise called Mercy, was shot dead and 3 other construction workers wounded by gunfire. The Clarendon police are searching for suspects who shot and killed a patron at a karaoke in Denbigh on Friday. The deceased has been identified as 30-year-old Rogel Edwards of Nichols Drive in Racetrack, Clarendon. It has been reported that about 11:30 p.m., Edwards was among patrons at Douglas Drive, where the entertainment event was being held, when he was approached by a group of men. He was shot multiple times in the upper body. The police were summoned and the scene processed. Investigations are ongoing. In business news, on the foreign exchange market, buying rate for the Canadian dollar is $114.21, selling rate $115.16. Buying rate for the Great Britain pound is $190.10, selling rate $191.55. The US dollar's buying rate is $151.25, while the selling rate is $153.31. In the region, Caribbean politicians, academics, and other stakeholders, including police commissioners, began a 2-day symposium on Monday examining violence as a public health issue. This comes against the backdrop of increasing violent crimes across the region. CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett said violence in the region is an epidemic, and like any epidemic, effective strategies to combat the spread require data and research, as well as human and financial resources to allow timely implementation of solutions to address the root causes and mitigate the devastating impact of crime and violence on societies. The Guyana-based CARICOM Secretariat said the region's method of addressing crime and violence from a social prevention perspective, as well as a criminal justice perspective, has been the traditional approach for a number of years. However, this has resulted in consistently escalating levels of crime and violence, which have been an ongoing concern of CARICOM leaders for several years. On the international scene, Jack Teixeira appeared in a Boston court for allegedly leaking confidential U.S. defense and intelligence documents. He's been charged with unauthorized retention and transmission of national defense information and unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents. The 21-year-old, who had top secret clearance, faces 15 years in prison if found guilty on all counts. The FBI arrested him in Massachusetts on Thursday and is being held until his next hearing on Wednesday. Documents show that Teixeira is a member of the intelligence wing of the Massachusetts Air National Guard and was recently promoted. The defense and intelligence files were leaked on the gaming platform Discord, causing panic among top U.S. officials. And in sports, beginning at the end of this month, the government will provide the Reggae Girls with a monthly stipend towards their nutritional and training needs for the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports Olivia Grange made the announcement on Monday. She said the support is valued at $20 million. The FIFA Women's World Cup tournament is scheduled to take place from July 20 to August 20 in Australia and New Zealand. And that's it for your news roundup for today. Please remember to like this video, share your views in the comments, and share the video with your family and your friends. I am Abigail Smythe. Have a good evening and see you next time.
Teach them! Hey, yo, hello! Send the message and make it reach them. It's teach them. Right here, Warlord representing.
Thank you for watching. Like the video before you go. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. And remember to share the video with your friends and family. And browse the channel for more quality content. Until next time, walk good, my friends.
Teach them!